My Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual personal journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live or post a new video. And don't forget, as you're going along in this video, if you like it, to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, founder of Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, founder of asexualise.com, and founder of Asexualise Academy, which is the world's first online training centre and school for asexuals and asexuality. Hello, Michael. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Well, this is a channel about asexuality, and that does mean that I also share information with you about things to do with relationships. Now, as asexuals, hi Andy, nice to see you. Thanks for joining me, and Michael as well. Really lovely to see you. Can't wait to see you at the meetup soon as well. Asexual meetup is going to be great. So yeah, I've been messaging people about that today. You know, what time are we going to meet on the Saturday before the meetup? So yeah, I'll be in touch with you about that as well. Can't wait. Really super excited. 18th of November. I digress. So anyway, so on this channel I cover a lot of stuff to do with asexuality and relationships, and obviously with asexuals being only 1% of the population, it is quite likely that some of us are going to try being in relationships with heterosexuals or homosexuals, pansexuals, bisexuals, you know, depending on what gender you're attracted to. We're going to obviously, probably some of us, try being with sexuals, in other words, in relationships. And that can be really tough if you've never been in a relationship before. It can be tough to understand about kissing, about flirting, about sex, making love. It can be really like confusing to asexuals, right? And although this is an asexual channel, yes, I do talk somewhat about sex and sexual stuff and acts and things sometimes in order to help you to understand it better. And obviously it also bridges the gaps between asexuals and sexuals if we have better understanding between the two different sexual spectrum ends, if you like. So it's really important that you understand, if you are going to date or be in a relationship potentially with a sexual person, that you understand some of the terminology, you understand some of the way sexuals are, so that you can be better prepared, equipped, and more vigilant as to what's going on when you're with them. Okay, so what's the difference between sex and making love? To be honest, I didn't understand this before. I thought sex and making love, at the end of the day, it's still sex, isn't it? It's still, you know, sticking the man sticking his bit in the woman, basically, or obviously if you're guys, it's up the bum. But but when we refer to sex in general and making love, a lot of the time we are, you know, thinking that it's basically the act is very the same. I mean, that's what I was thinking. As an asexual, I was thinking, you know, personally doesn't like sex these days, but had it in the past. I was kind of thinking, well, sex and making love, they're still at the end of the day physical intercourse. Do you know what I mean? And I don't like them these days, you know. I've never really liked it in the first place, but I've had it in the past, you know. So it was kind of like all the same to me. It's like, well, sex is sex, isn't it? However, since I've been following dating coaches, been very much learning all about different types of relationships, like intimacy, all that type of thing. Like since about March last year, so about a year and a half now, I understand like relationships better. I think dynamics. I understand dating world more. I understand things a lot better. I understand I understand sexuals more by understanding asexuality more. It's kind of a bit weird parallel universe going on somehow, you know. It's kind of like I feel like I'm able to help sexuals more because I understand asexuality so much better. And there's a program on YouTube, and it's called Psych to Go, PSYCH2GO. I've got it up on my Mac, so that's why I'm speaking. And it's got this video on there called 7 Things Asexual People Want You to Know. It was published on October the 18th, 2018, so not that long ago from when this is live now. And it's a really good video in general, but it does cock one thing up majorly, and that's it. It says aromantics don't want relationships. And as you know, I did a video on this channel several days ago about this myth about aromantics is very damaging, right? A lot of aromantic asexuals, yes, they don't want to be in a relationship, they don't want to date, they're not interested in it, but that is not every single aromantic. There are aromantic people, those who lack romantic attraction, asexuals I'm talking about, because you can get aromantic sexuals, which aromantic sexuals are the ones that don't experience romantic attraction, but they do experience sexual attraction. And aromantic asexual is someone who doesn't experience romantic attraction and they don't experience sexual attraction. So you can get aromantic asexuals and aromantic sexuals, which can be a bit confusing sometimes, right? And in this particular 7 things asexual people want you to know is they say aromantics don't want relationships as a blanket statement, like that's what they've told the world, which isn't true. So I have an aromantic online friend. She's been married to her husband for well over 12 years. He's not actually asexual, but she is. She's in a relationship, and you know, she was quite horrified the other day. Well, once again, someone asked her, you know, why did you want to marry your husband if you're aromantic? I just think that's so rude. There are different types of love, and just because she's not romantic, doesn't experience romantic attraction doesn't mean to say she can't love her husband, you know. And there's this huge myth that no aromantics, want to be in a relationship. I actually had an aromantic person apply to be in my dating group, which I just accepted yesterday, no sex dating group, and they're looking for a QPR, a queer platonic relationship, right? So aromantics can have something called a queer platonic relationship, or QPR, and it's where they'll have a relationship with another person that's more than just a friendship, and it's in effect a life partnership, right? But it's just why are you talking about sex, Anthony? Can please. Anthony, if you watch this channel, like I explained, I'm talking about relationships and dating, and asexuals sometimes date sexuals. So asexuals do need to understand the terminology. And I'm coming on to this article, which I'm talking about asexuality, and there's actually a sexual in there that was asking my advice. So this is what I'm coming on to. Anyway, so because some asexuals, they do have sex. Some asexuals get involved in sexual relationships, get involved in relationships with sexuals, even if they don't want sex. They still need to know what the terminology is and what's happening in it, right? So, anyway, like I was saying, with I don't watch this channel, I never will. Bye. Okay, bye, Anthony. Off you go. Have a great one. Beautiful day. Wishing you. And so basically, that's what I was saying. There's this myth that no aromantics want relationships, no aromantic sexuals want relationships. It's simply not true. So this video is very good about asexuality, explaining it. Michael, yeah, that was very strange, Anthony. Probably because he doesn't understand why I'm talking about sex if I'm asexual. Because, I don't have sex. As you know, I'm personally sex repulsed, but that doesn't mean to say I can't talk about it. I was in heterosexuals for half of my life. If I can help an asexual, if even I can help a sexual person, if I can help people understand sexuality more and relationships, then I will do it. I've got friends that are sexuals. Not all my friends are asexuals, And I didn't, as an asexual, I'm saying as well that I didn't get the concept of sex and making love. I thought they were the same thing, right? So in this article, the 7 things asexual people want you to know, it's not an article, it's a YouTube video, right? If you Google 7 things asexual people want you, 7 things asexual people want you to know, it's by a company called Psych2Go, right? That's what I'm trying to explain in the video. It's incorrect information when it says all aromantics don't want relationships, which has confused people in the thread. And as it happens, there's a person in there that's come in the thread that's talking to me, so they've tagged me, and they are not asexual. They are a heterosexual, aromantic sexual. And they're asking me, they're talking about dating, they're talking about relationships and romance. Actually, that person just, do you know about Fortnite, a video game? No, I don't, Anthony. I don't play video games. So anyway, this guy who's on the thread, in the thread underneath the asexual video, he admits that he's a heterosexual aromantic. And the conversation goes on, and this particular guy, he just wants sex. And he's asking me advice about how to get a girl. Basically, do you know about the PS4 system? No, I don't. I don't play video games. PlayStation. I know that PS4's a PlayStation. where you can play video games. But unlike a lot of asexuals that do like video games, I don't play video games. One of my best friends does, though. He's an aromantic asexual. Actually, he's a demi-romantic asexual on the aromantic spectrum. So anyway, in this particular, under this 7 things asexual people want you to know, there was this guy who was talking about basically, he's an aromantic asexual. He just wants the sex, which can be something quite common for aromantic sexuals. You know, the ones that don't experience romantic attraction, but they do experience sexual attraction. And he was on about he hates all the romantic rituals he has to go through to get a woman to have sex. Now, obviously, as a person who's personally sex repulsed, and this guy clearly just wants sex. You know, I've given him constructive advice. And in the end, I said, you know, if you're not going to be prepared to put any work and effort in with a woman, you know, you just want to stick it in, you know, you may as well pay a sex worker, because that's quite true, you know, that's what people do for a job. So that was my the advice went on that I gave him, a lot of advice. But basically, what came up was I ended up discussing to him what the difference was between making love and sex, which I used to, like I said, I used to think they were the same thing. So sex is basically when a guy just sticks it in, you know, you just has intercourse, and making love is where they do all the other stuff surrounding it. So when they kiss your body, they touch you, they caress you. Hi, Heather. So basically, sex is just stick it in. When a guy, like, for example, if it's a heterosexual and he's making love to a woman, he would do all the other stuff. He would, like, kiss her body, massage her, do foreplay, all that type of thing. So it'd be like a whole experience, right? And I didn't understand that as an asexual, you know, before I discovered asexuality and was, you know, like, learning about dating and relationships. I never got the difference, but now I do. So it was quite weird, because I was advising this heterosexual guy who's clearly not a type I'd really personally want to get involved with ever, obviously, because he's highly sexual and just wants the sex. But I was trying to explain to him what the difference was between making love and sex, because he just wants the sex. And I was saying, well, most women want to be made love to, you know? They don't want the sex, you know, because he's a heterosexual. So I'm advising him about other women. But I thought it was really important to know, because obviously with some asexuals, they do have sex. I personally are sex repulsed these days. I don't want it again, right? But if you are having sex and you want to get a good experience for yourself out of it, some guy that's just sticking it in you is not going to be a very good experience for you, right? In general, because it's not a good experience for any woman, or obviously if it's a guy on guy, or, you know, woman. But, you know, I'm talking about my experience and more about my knowledge about heterosexuals. If a guy just wants to stick it in a woman, that's not pleasurable for a woman. And most women don't have orgasms through that if you're looking for sexual excitement. But as an asexual, if you're going to have sex, right, you kind of might like some other physical stuff. And if a guy's just sticking it in you, you're not getting any of the other stuff out of it. Do you see what I'm saying? So for the people, I know I don't want sex. I know, Michael, you're not an aromantic. You're not even interested in relationships. I know, Heather, you're not bothered about sex. But there are some asexuals. I talk to in private message who come to me and they're trying sex or they're having sex, you know, and I just want them to get the best out of it for them if they're going to do it. Do you see what I mean? I want them to have a good experience of it rather than it being traumatic for them, or rather than it being all one-sided with the other person and horrible for them. I want it to be a good experience for them if they're going to have it, if they're going to try it. I want it to be as nice experience as possible, right? And I have said on this channel previously that I am going to do a video, a book about, you know, sex for beginners for asexuals, those who want to try it, because I do get people in private message asking me about it. Even though I'm asexual and even though I don't personally want sex, I haven't had sex since 2011, and I'm very, very happy about that. You know, I don't want it again in my life, but that doesn't mean to say that I can't help and advise other people, because I was in heterosexual relationships for half my life, and that's quite a long time. So I know that, you know, so if you are going to have sex, you know, the other person should be thinking of your needs, you know. You know, you could ask them for a massage. You could ask them, you know, if you do like touching on your body, if you're a very sensual person, you know, a sensual person could go, if you're wanting to try sex and you're prepared to have sex, a person who's an asexual sensual person who likes a lot of touching could benefit from the making love, because the sex, like I say, is just a kid. The making love is all the foreplay. So it's all the touching, the kissing all over the neck, down the arms, or wherever you want to do. You can be touching on the thighs. You can be kissing on the body. Personally, you know, I'm nudity repulsed, so I'm not into all this. But, you know, I'm into the kissing on the neck and stuff like that. But I keep my clothes on. But, you know, some people, you know, you could ask your partner to back massage you, neck massage you, get some oils and put them on you. If you like that type of thing, you know, you could like, you know, if you're romantic, you can light candles, rose petals everywhere, balloons or whatever, you know, you can make the experience fun and exciting and passionate. And, you know, if you want that, to try it and you want to do it, that's like making love. It's like a whole experience, if you like. It's not just sticking it in. And I just want asexuals, if they are trying it, to get the best out of it for them. Because if you just got some person that just comes along and you don't understand sex, you don't really know how it works, you're new to it, you don't understand how it goes, you know, they're just doing that. You know, years ago when I first started, you know, like someone, you know, I lost my virginity, I didn't know anything of this. You know, I've had both. I've had my guy stick it in, and those relationships didn't last very long. And then I had my long-term ex who was very good at all the other stuff, you know. So that really helped, and it was why he was good at sex, because basically he was doing the making love stuff. Whereas the guy just stick it in. I think I was with him like 3 weeks or something. I just couldn't stand it. I said, I'm bored. I'm really bored. I mean, I'm bored because I don't like sex anyway. But there was nothing interesting for me, because I don't like the actor. I wasn't interested in his, you know, private part, because I'm asexual, which I didn't realise at the time. I told him that I didn't want sex, and he goes, yeah, but I want. I'm like, why? Because I like it. I'm like, okay. So I did that for him. But after, I think it was 3 weeks, he was foreign. Loved his look, very gorgeous looking guy, but that's not enough for me to make me want sex with someone, as you know. And I had a conversation with him and he wanted it, so I did that with him. But I was like bored and I just couldn't stand anymore, you know, because I just can't take it when a guy just thinks it's boring. What am I getting out of it? I mean, I'm not interested in sex anyway, but what am I getting out of it, you know? It's not really getting kisses out of it. I'm not really getting a massage out of it. I'm not really getting a, you know, at that time I was okay with guys touching my body to a certain extent, you know. I was more open to that. would be naked and stuff like that. Now I'm asexual. Well, I've always been asexual, but now I know I'm asexual. I can put boundaries in place. I can understand what I like and don't like, and I can, you know, I mean, obviously I could change my mind and go back to being, you know, naked if I wanted to be in front of a guy, but I just don't like that. I'm just nudity repulsed, but I've always been nudity repulsed, really. But you know, don't forget I was in a long-term relationship. You know, I always prefer, you know, all the sex I've had has been in relationships, hasn't been outside of relationships. I've never had one night stands or anything. I'm not interested in that. But I just want you to know that if you are going to try it, to make the experience more fun for you and more better for you, and, you know, so you get something out of it. You know, I mean, obviously, you know, like asexual, I mean, that's what making love means. It means sex, but with all the other stuff. But, you know, obviously in asexuality, you could, you know, you could make up your own sort of version of making love that didn't involve the intercourse, if you want. Do you see what I mean? But in the whole world, that's the difference. So I was advising this guy, and I was saying, because this guy who's on the asexual, underneath the asexual YouTube video, he says, I'm a heterosexual, aromantic sexual. Is that normal? I just don't care for romance or relationship or doing things together. I just want sex and then nothing else. You know, this guy's being honest, at least. I wouldn't mind going out on dates. The problem is that most girls expect you to act a certain way and be a man and do these rituals. That's what I don't like. I don't like having to say the right thing at the right time, so that makes me aromantic, I think. I mean, this is what he's saying out loud. I'm not agreeing with him or not agreeing. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with him on this. I don't comment on that bit. But I'm really sexual, and most women like romance, so it's harder for me. Gay men have it easier, since most gay men will just have sex quickly, but with women, there's a lot of ritual involved. Well, personally, I don't really want to comment on the gay stuff because I don't know. Obviously I could ask my gay friends, but yeah, I don't actually think that's necessarily totally true, because actually I do know someone who is yeah, Anyway, I can't go into that. But yeah, so I don't think that's true in all cases. I think some guys may do it quickly, and I think other guys like other stuff. Right, so basically, my advice to him was the best thing to do would be to find a heterosexual aromantic woman to match you. Romantics usually want romance and to feel loved and special and their needs taken care of. Most people need this. But aromantics don't need to have the romance part. And I put, making love is what most women want rather than just sex. If a guy is just thinking of sticking it in, she can have much better options with men who know how to give her pleasure too. And who can really make love to her, not just have sex. And I put that doesn't have to be romantic. It can be sensual, passionate and erotic, but pleasurable for both people. Maybe that is what you need to work on. Sounds like you need to work on yourself and choose to make an effort, but in a way which you can be yourself. A lot of women are looking for something long-term, even though they don't initially say it. They may be down for a bit of fun once in a while, but most will give that up for a guy who can truly give her pleasure in all the ways she needs it. Physical, intellectual, emotional, and even spiritual. I can't understand why you would even want to date if you are not romantic and don't want a relationship or to do anything together, as dates involve doing things together, other than to get sex out of it, ? Quality women who have high standards will not want a guy just for sex. They will want something more meaningful, who can create a future and life with. If you just need straightforward sex, just hire a sex worker, as there is no commitment needed and you can get the sex you crave. That was my advice to him. And then he went on to say he often gets into dates and I already knew beforehand that I don't even like that girl that much. And he goes on and starts talking about things. But, that was my advice to him. Like, I'm asexual, but I'm still giving asexual advice. And I just wanted to do this video. I wasn't sure, should I do it or should I not do it? Because obviously it does have you might think, as we're asexual, why do we even need to know this? But I have to, I think it's important to get clued up on it. I did a video about dating. I've done a video about kissing because, just because I'm sex repulsed doesn't mean to say the whole of asexuals are, because some aren't. Do you see what I mean? Some are indifferent or some want to try it. So just because I'm one type of asexual doesn't mean to say on this channel that I should rule out every other asexual because I'm a certain way. Do you see what I'm saying? I like to be, hi Heather, nice to see you. I like to help all asexuals and all people as much as possible. So, that's why I wanted to do this video, to just explain the differences and say that, if you are asexual that wants to try the sex, make sure you're trying to get something out of it as well. Don't just let the person, be, have their own gratification or whatever they're doing and have nothing to make you feel good. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you like chocolate, get the guy to have some chocolate on his chest and eat the chocolates. Do you know what I mean? I mean, asexuals tend to like their food. I love my food, So if you are going down the sex route, put some chocolates on their chest and eat the chocolates off or something. Get the other person to buy them. Do you know what I mean? It's like you may as well try and get some nice experience out of it for yourself if you're going to try it anyway. Do you know what I mean? Make it a bit more pleasant for you. Like, ask them to buy you a cake or something and eat cake together or something. Do you know what I mean? You can do, you can experiment and do things and try things out, I just think, it's so important because, like, I've had both types of guys and the stick it in you one, I didn't want sex anyway, as I've said, even though I didn't know I was asexual back then. And just to go through that, even like with 3 weeks, even though he's a really good looking guy, I just got so bored. I'm like, is this all you can do? Is this your imagination? Do you know what I mean? Whereas my long-time ex was completely different to that. He would make me happy. He would give me physical pleasure in other ways with the kissing and some touching and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And then it wasn't as bad doing that. And he would do, other stuff. He used to do a lot of it, like things. And I'm just like, get on with it. But do you know what I'm saying? It was a better experience in terms of trying to do that and doing that. You know what I mean? So, but all in all, obviously, I'd rather not have it. And I do hope I get an asexual for a relationship eventually because I absolutely adore a life without sex, and I like to make love with the tongue, as I call it. So Yeah, so if you know what making love with a tongue is, that's my own sort of thing I created. I don't know if anyone else speaks like that, but basically making love with a tongue means that I'm doing deep penetrative kissing with the tongue. I'm not having sex. My clothes is in my case, my clothes is on, and I'm doing lots of things with my tongue. So it's kind of like making love with the tongue, and I love that. And that's my asexual making love with the tongue is deep penetrative kissing with the tongue with no sex whatsoever. But obviously, when the world is talking about sex and making love, they are referring to intercourse. And the differences between it I've explained. So I hope that's been useful, helpful, insightful for you. I know probably by the title you're like, what the heck's she talking about on this channel for bringing that up? But I think it's so important to explain these different things. It's so important to be informed. I know a lot of asexuals, who haven't tried sex, they're quite scared, but they will just go ahead and, some of them are quite manipulated into it. Some of them are quite controlled into it. Some of them are just like want to try it for themselves. Some of them want to give it a go. Some of them are open to it, really open to it, and it's like, well, I'm indifferent. I don't care whether I have it or I don't have it. It doesn't really bother me. And so there's a huge range of experiences that asexuals have, and some like myself are sex repulsed, and it's just like, ugh, no way, not having it, don't come near me, keep your clothes, with me, I'm like, keep your clothes on. I don't want to see your naked body, not below the waist. Keep all that on. Thank you very much. If you want to put a lock on it and a bolt on it, I'll be quite happy as well. But you know what I mean? I don't like, I have been with a heterosexual guy where he's taken his trousers off and he's gone down to his, like boxer shorts or whatever. I have been with guys like that. But I have kept my clothes on the whole time. I'm like, I'm having a barrier between me and you, mate. I'm not going that far. So yeah, I just think it's really important that you're informed, that you know these things, and that if you are going to try sex, you could at least try it, try and think of ways in which you can make the experience better for you, so that you're not left feeling absolutely like, what the friggin' heck's that? I don't want to do it. You might be feeling like that anyway because you're asexual. That's what I don't want to do it anyway. I'm not interested in it. Don't want to do it again in my life. Now I know there's people out there who are asexual who can live, love and be happy without sex, and I very much believe I can get someone who be with me without sex, and that's a beautiful thing. I believe in that. I'm hopeful of that. And even if I was with a heterosexual, I still wouldn't want sex with him again. He'd have to have a sex-free life with me and enjoy himself, and there's a lot more things to life than sex. There's a lot more to a relationship. You can have you can have a huge fulfilling relationship in many ways without sex ever being involved. If the person you're with doesn't want to have sex, but they're being, they're like your bestest ever friend, they understand you, they emotionally connect with you, they can bond with you on a very deep spiritual level, they can, be really positive about your work and your life, they can support you in your hobbies, support you in your life, your dreams, they can be there for you through thick and thin. There's a lot of good things about being with an asexual and someone who doesn't, in asexual's case, we lack sexual attraction, so we don't get the need, urge or want for partnered sexual intercourse. But obviously there are the other people in the world that don't have sex either, the ones that abstain, or the ones that are celibate by choice. Obviously asexuality is not a choice, they're choosing. Some people have disabilities and can't have sex, and even some sexuals, you get some with a low sex drive and all sorts. So a sex-free life can be very wonderful and absolutely fantastic, and you can just enjoy being in each other's company, enjoy that deep understanding with a fellow human being, someone who really, really gets you. And I think in the world, one of the main things we need in a relationship is to be understood. Everyone needs to feel loved and to feel understood. And a person can show you and give you love without sex. A person can hold you in their arms and just look into your eyes, and that you feel warm in their cuddle. A person can understand you when you're down. They can understand your mind. They can understand your point of view and where you're coming from. They can be compassionate. They can be caring. They can be sympathetic, and they can be kind. They can be warm and they can be beautiful with you. You know, you could go traveling. You know, if you're into traveling, you could go traveling the world together. It doesn't have to involve sex, but you could have the most amazing experiences together. You can both have exhilarating experiences in other ways, you know. Even when people are in sexual relationships, they still have to keep the spark alive, and that isn't always through sex. It's through doing things together, through bonding together, through spending time together, through understanding each other, you know. People tend to have affairs, not necessarily because of a lack of sex, but because their partner doesn't understand them anymore. They've gone different directions in life. They can't connect emotionally anymore, you know. And the way asexuals tend to love is for a deep emotional connection, and the asexuals will want to maintain that with you because it's how they love. So they will want to, oh, my battery's going low on here. They will want to maintain connection with you. They will want to maintain that, you know, that affection without the sex. They will want that to be with you, and they will want to, you know, love you for who you are as a person, not as a sexual object, you know, not as a do dishes together. Well, in my case, I hate washing up. But yeah, if people want to do dishes together, board games together, some people want to travel, go on adventures together. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. By the way, I am gonna log off in a minute because I think you know, I've given you enough information to be going on with. But I just want to say that I do love a sex-free life personally. If you're going to try it, get the best experience out of it for you. Thank you for the thumbs up. Any thumbs up is really appreciated because it does raise awareness of asexuality. It gets these videos higher up in the search engine rankings. And yes, there will be. Thanks, Michael, so much. You know, and it'll be helpful for anyone, I think, because some people just don't get it. There are a lot of people out there that are sexuals and they don't understand the difference between making love and having sex. And I didn't for years. So even if a sexual comes along, maybe it will help a sexual to understand that they can give, you know, that if they've got an asexual and who's willing to try sex for them, then, you know, they know how to try and make them have pleasure in other ways, not just the stick it in method. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it helps both sexualities out. Anyway, I really loved to see you tonight. Thanks, Heather, for joining me. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Andy. And Anthony, I think, was here. Thanks, Andy. You're lovely to see you again. And Anthony was here earlier as well, talking about PlayStations and video games. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Love you all for being here. It's incredible to have you on this live stream with me. Leave any comments below. I try and answer them in between live streams. And I'll get around to answering as many comments as possible in the meantime. I know, Heather, I've got to reply to your last comment. Anyway, take care. I will see you on the next live stream. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live or post a new video. I am going live on this channel every single day at the moment. So don't forget to subscribe and enjoy joining the conversations. Until next time, see you soon. Bye. Have a good night. Bye.